With me today are the new GNSO Chair, Heather Forrest, former GNSO Chair, James Bladell. This leadership transition just happened on Wednesday during the Council public session, so congratulations, Heather, and thank you for your service, James. So, James, looking back at the 2 years for you as the GNSO Chair and 4 years as a counselor, what are the highlights of your experience?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the IANA transition and all of the work that the GNSO members as well as the broader community put into developing the transition plan, the PTI, the Customer Standing Committee, and staffing all of those groups. And then incorporating all of that into the new ICANN bylaws, which then flow through to the new GNSO procedures. It was a lot of work, and I think it went very well.
So is there any notable challenges that you can recall, and how did you manage them?
There were two. First of all, the last one I mentioned, the GNSO bylaws, is still ongoing, and unfortunately I've left that unfinished, in an unfinished state for Heather, but I know that she and the new council will take that up. The second one is a continuous issue that involved conflicts with local privacy law, which in some ways has been overtaken by the GDPR developments. But for the first year or so that we were on council, it seemed to come up and derail all of our meetings, and so we kind of started to call it the agenda killer.
So, Heather, for your term as the GNSO Chair, what are your top priorities and goals you'd like to accomplish?
Thanks, Ariel. I think certainly the unfinished business that James has mentioned is very much top of the mind. We have a significant effort underway to better understand the bylaws now that these are in place and involve the empowered community, and I think it's important that we as the GNSO Council, as individual councillors and as council leadership, understand how we fit in those new bylaws and what specific impact that those have on GNSO operating procedures and what we do, what our core business is, which is policy development and managing the policy development process, or PDP as we call it. So I think certainly continuing in the efforts to understand the bylaws and the operating procedures change is a top priority. Another top priority is, as James has mentioned, taking forward some of these things that have been on our agenda repeatedly and working together as a community. I think James is quite right to point to the IANA transition, in that that's a demonstration of what we can do when we work together, and even under very tight timelines. So I think to the extent that we can continue in that spirit, that's something that we ought to do. So inculcating that spirit of working together is important.
Great. And so in the upcoming year, what are the most challenging issues facing the GNSO?
All of them. All of them. Look, I think, it's been an honor and a pleasure to work with James and Donna Austin in the past few years as a leadership team, and I think one of the things that we have to equip ourselves for the challenge is the fact that we work together as a team, and we'll continue to do that in the next GNSO leadership team. In terms of challenges, look, I think there are several things that immediately come to mind. One is explaining to the community exactly what it is that we do. So after we all understand our role as the GNSO and the GNSO Council and what that means in the empowered community, I think it behooves us to communicate that clearly and crisply to the rest of the ICANN community so that they can understand how we fit. And of course, I think we're at a time where many don't fully appreciate or understand the role of the PDP, the role of the GNSO policy development process. So I see that as one of the biggest challenges is communicating with the community so that they better understand what we do.
That's a lot of exciting work coming up. So as Heather embarks upon her journey as a GNSO Chair, James, do you have any advice to give her?
Very little. To none. If you remember, we came onto this leadership team together at the same time, and we learned together. So we kind of built a lot of the processes, procedures, work routines ourselves, and so I think she knows as well as I do at this point how to drive the boat. I know that she will put her own stamp, her own mark on the year to come, and the term that's ahead of her and ahead of the council. But I'm really thrilled that we have some continuity and that we're able to take some of the things, some of the lessons learned, sometimes the hard way, and take those forward into the new term.
Thank you very much, James and Heather. Congratulations again, Heather, for becoming the new chair. And James, hope to keep seeing you in ICANN meetings and hope you keep
Sure you will.
getting engaged. Thank you.
Thanks, Erin.